No. Ah, come back. No, come back. Come back. Should be live. Live? I'm live. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Let's make sure that do I have people? Maybe I have people, probably not. Okay, edit this. Hey Paolo, how are you? I'm behind on my schedule today, but otherwise I'm okay. On. What do I have here? My sound was off. Oh. Hi, Bernard. How are you? Okay, so what am I doing today? Today I have this, which is a work in progress. Rearrange my, and I have a reference. So what's happening is I kind of by surprise, I had a exhibition that was scheduled last year that was meant to be rescheduled to this summer, and I had sort of given up on it because it's a local community organization that has been rather unreliable about scheduling. But they got back to me nearly 2 weeks ago now, and scheduled me an exhibition for July 26th. So, very suddenly I need to make my On the Skin of Giants series of paintings available for that time period, for July 26th, which means I need to get a lot of work done because I'm behind. This painting I started at a residency last year on Porphyry Island, I had this chunk of black spruce that had been cut down. It was actually a lot larger, and I started painting this, which is has some foreground branches and some background branches, and I was getting kind of confused with it, so I stopped, and now I'm more confused with it, but I want to finish it so that I can have it for the exhibition. And so I'm gonna try to make something of this painting that I have started, and I'm working with this. So this is a Rosa Gallery tin that I've got my Wild Creativity palette, not the real palette, but the colors for it. When I was choosing what I was going to put in the palette, I was testing colors, so I've got sort of a mock-up of that palette, but this tin has more slots in it because it's got a third rail in the same size of tin. So I'm adding some stuff, and I'm going to carry this palette with me when I go back to Porphyry Island next week. Hi, Stephen. And so I am assembling what colors I want to bring. So far I've chosen 2 extras, so this is the Wild Creativity palette, link down in the description, plus 2 extras. This is a titanium buff and a phthalo green. And I'm working with that and trying to get as much detail in this painting, get this sort of presentable so that I can have a thing ready. Oh man, I should have used this for my little palette. Oh dang. Jordan made me a little travel palette to take. It's amazing, but I used just a plate, and I didn't realize I'd forgotten I had this little thing. Could have used this as the little mixing surface. Oh well. Whoopsies. Next one. I don't often use these titanium colors, these semi-opaques, but I have to say, for mixing, these Lichen colors, it makes it a lot easier to have these opaque pigments here to mix with. So yeah, that's kind of neat. I'm going to use that. And you can use, depending on if you mix it with more of a blue tone or a green tone, you can get sort of more yellowish creamy lichen colors or more bluish ones. And yeah, I'm just gonna try to get as much of this done. I'm trying to get more pieces finished than is really reasonable with the time allowed, but you know, gotta be a little bit ambitious, I guess. Sorry. Let us, if I move this up a little and move this over, then you can see the whole image. What is buff? Is it titanium white of some sort? Buff titanium is it's an unbleached titanium white. So titanium white is bleached usually, and unbleached, the same pigment code but unbleached, comes in buff or sort of grayish. So titanium buff is this, yeah. Anyway, so this is, yeah, this is, started this piece in, I guess, late July of last year, while I was at a residency. On Porphyry Island. I guess the other issue with it is that there's a lot of damage to this paper, both while I was painting and then transporting it back. I mean, paper, it's a panel. But both while painting it and transporting it back, it acquired a whole bunch of these smudges on it because it rubbed against various things because I was taking it out into the wilderness and didn't have the right protection for it. So that's unfortunate. Anyway, I am going back to the same area for 3 weeks starting on Wednesday. So I guess the other news here is that I won't be available. I'll be away. I probably will not be streaming for a little while here. We'll see. I mean, there might be, I might have a tiny bit of ability to stream. I have, on the island we do have a, sorry, what was I saying? On the island there is a Starlink unit, so I can theoretically do a little bit of streaming. Because I can get internet certain points in the island. Starlink is high throughput, good internet connection, but high latency as well, and I don't know how that'll work with streaming. So I might try to do a little stream. But otherwise I will be away from streaming for a few weeks. So I'm going up for nearly 3 weeks. The first several days I'm going to be in Sleeping Giant Provincial Park, which is just northeast of Thunder Bay. And then I'm then I'm going back to oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm really out of it today, apparently. Also need to get some kind of gray situation here. And then from there I'm going to Porphyry Island, so that is, 40 kilometers off. starting with darks. I think I tried to fake the color when trying an Iraville type painting. Yeah, you can definitely fake the color. You just take titanium white and you add a little bit of some kind of yellow earth tone. So if you use like mostly titanium white with a little bit of a titanium or a little bit of a like yellow ochre. Radio silence. Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted. Am I starting with darks? I am starting with, I'm just sort of jumping around, to be honest. I'm not starting with anything in particular. I'm just trying to reacquaint myself with this painting that I've largely forgotten where everything is. Yeah. There's no great logic to what I'm doing right now. Just going for it. I'm trying to get some of these, I guess part of what I'm doing is I'm trying to re-familiarize myself with this structure and what was where by painting some of these foreground branches. Eventually, the goal is to have there be some sort of visible depth, because what this is the top of a crown of a pine tree. So I've got these smaller branches in the top, and then in the back I'm gonna have more, but they're just gonna be washed out. And so the goal was to get some of these details in with ink and some brighter colors, and then as I work back they'll be not inked. Found the park and island on the map. Yes. Be right back, need to ferment some plums. That is the best be right back I've heard in a while. I love it. So trying to create some depth, and I was pretty happy with how I was going with that on the island, but I had to cut the branch down from what I was working from in order to fit it in my carry-on to bring it back home. Now this time I am not traveling carry-on only, thank goodness. So I will have lots of fun stuff to carry with me. I'm traveling with 2 tripods this time. So I can have one for filming and one for holding my panels and palette. I've got a little palette holder thing that Jordan built me. Anyway, yes, so there's not a huge amount of logic here. This is just me trying to figure things out and bringing you along for the ride while I do my work, because I'm trying to keep up with doing weekly live streams, but right now I don't really have the time to spare to be doing extra projects. So everything I'm working on my live streams is absolutely just the same work that I'm working on the rest of the time. Now, because I'm at home, not at my regular studio, it's not going to be the big paintings. It's just going to be this little thing. But this is still a little thing that's going into an exhibition on July 26th, ideally. So I need to figure it out, and that's that. I also need to find my blue pen. I'll be right back. Is there a dog on my bed? There's a dog on my bed. And then I have this. Paolo, can you get a link to this live stream over on my, posted over on my Discord? Because that's another thing that I didn't get around to. Or wait, sorry, Paolo's fermenting plums. Steven, can you do that? And Bernard, you might want to join my Discord. I will be right back. Sorry, I'm swapping over water. And back. And then I'm actually just going to dip this so that I can hopefully get this started again. Come on. There's more than enough ink in here. Let's get going. Unimpressed. You know what? I'm actually going to change this. I'm actually going to use a black ink here for now because I think I actually want, I actually want some more contrast. So that is fine. I was already considering that. That's what I'm going to do. It's going to have some black ink. And that also needs to get started. Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on. Pen start, pen start. Why is my pen not starting? Hello? Really having quite the day. I'll be right back. Need to get a third pen. All right, third pen. I'll try. Taxis, success. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Welcome back, Paula. Yeah, okay, this is working well. So when I started the On the Skin of Giants project, I had this idea that I should do all of the pieces using the same materials, and there's a lot of that actually. There's just discovering what works and sticking with it. But there's also some stuff like, yeah, you know what? Sometimes using the same pen for everything just doesn't fit with what you're trying to achieve. So in here, I am using a black ballpoint, and then I'll probably go in with a black fountain pen ink. Elsewhere, I have used my blue ink, which I have now relocated to the wrong studio twice. Otherwise, I'd just refill the pen that's acting out, but I can't. Anyway, what I've been discovering with these things is that I'm playing a lot with depth, and one of the ways that I've been figuring out how to define depth is with the line and the line weight. So things that are closer have more defined lines. So I choose the fine line weight and get all the details in for whatever's in focus. What's further ahead, I use a heavier line weight but less of it. What's further back, I use either no lining or a lighter line. So instead of using the Sailor Suboku blue-black, I've been playing with, can I get a light gray? And that is working out great. And now I have been playing with simplifying my materials for sketching. So I've been playing with a lot of just rollerball pen. And just various basic pens, like basic fountain pen or basic rollerball is nice because you can actually get a range of pressure. So I'm going to work in here with the rollerball, then I'll get some black, and then I'll use the blue black for the second furthest back areas, and then I'll probably just end up doing like the background ones being just no lining, and use some lighter colors. I'm probably just sort of babbling right now. I'm sorry for the babble. Sorry if what I'm saying doesn't make any sense to anyone. Again, this isn't meant as I got a question on one of my live streams, like, is this a tutorial? No, it is not a tutorial. Sorry, these live streams are not me teaching. They're just me working. And so I babble. I don't necessarily make sense. And I am once again going to go disappear for a moment because I need to get myself a beverage. Oh, sorry, my head's coming into frame. That's not ideal. Let's get this over here and over here. Okay, so what I'm doing now with these guys over here is I'm just laying in some really light background branches. So what this is again, it's looking from the top of the, basically, so this was a fallen tree that had been moved into a pile, and I took, I go to art residencies and I ask for weird things like, hey, can I get, and sawed off a section of the, basically the crown, the top of this tree. And so I was near the top looking down the trunk, and I had, you know, a ways back. And this has degraded a little bit since then, but I'm trying to get some context in this background here so that I know how dark to take these foreground branches to create depth. So I've been playing a lot with, in this series, with creating depth in these paintings. Certainly not making my life easy for myself with my choice of how I approach things, but there's a very interesting woody smell in my studio right now. Thought interesting in a small core set, a mix of ultra blue and phthalo green. It separated but did not appear to granulate. Would that be a finer grind of ultramarine? It could be. You can try, if you want to try to emulate that, you could try Schminke's Ultramarine Finest. Does not like visibly granulate very much, or the Sennelier Ultramarine doesn't. The other thing that exists is something from Winsor Newton called Aqua Green. It doesn't separate, but it does granulate. It is a phthalo pigment though, and it is, I mean, frankly, I haven't tried it, but I think the core ultramarine is also not particularly granulating. So I guess the other question here is, and I'll make a video of this because I have to make a bunch of videos before I leave, is for this set, what should be my other selections in it, because I've got 7 more to choose. Maybe a red? A red? Really? Okay, fine, I'll add a red. Let's see. What red should I add? Maybe the one I've already got packaged. That's, let's see. What have I got here? What have I got here? Do I have a packaged red somewhere? Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna put, I'd forgotten that this was even a thing. Roman Schmal has a quinacridone scarlet that doesn't have a pigment number. It's the second pigment in Winsor Newton's, what is it, permanent carmine or something? They have something that's PR209, but doesn't look like a PR209. I believe, whatever. Anyway, there's a quinacridone scarlet that doesn't have a pigment because it's, I believe, a proprietary pigment. So it's not assigned. Quinacridone scarlet, and it doesn't have a pigment, and here we go. It is a Roman Schmal paint that I am tucking in here. Oh. I will add a red just for you. I'm also gonna add a Perylene Violet, probably. I mean, to be honest, it's not like where I'm going I have a whole lot of use for red either, but... But fine. Bring a red. Maybe I'll find some red spring berries. Although I'm going so early in the year, so the Sleeping Giant, like the main campground is open, but we actually had to. Sorry, I have a doorbell to answer. Jordan might answer it. Jordan, are you going to answer this doorbell?
Yeah, I'll just take one.
Okay. I'll also probably add a whole bunch of like brown tones because, you know, I'm heading into the woods. An Aquarius green. Whew. And misty morning.
We need a no solicitation sign. It was the Rogers clowns again.
Oh my gosh. It's also absurd because we're already on a Rogers reseller, so like, I don't know. We've already got your line. We just paid less for it. Hi, Mom. I'm painting a crusty branch I brought back from Northern Ontario the last time I went. And then did nothing with for months. So now I have to remember what I was planning on doing with all this stuff. And then finish this one for the show and possibly, I don't know. The lighthouse keeper there had asked me to, so the residency I'm going to is on on Porphyry Island, which has not much in the way of people or anything, but it does have a lighthouse. That, you know, used to require human attention. And so there's a nonprofit organization that runs the lighthouse and runs the site as they lease it from the government. So technically most of the island is owned by the Canadian government, although it is within a provincial marine heritage zone, I believe. It's all very interesting because it's not a provincial park. It's not a federal, it's not a national park. It's run by this it's leased by this little nonprofit. Anyway, they do various fundraising. So the way they work with the artists in residence is they offer this residency where it's not a fully funded residency. So the way that artist residencies work is, you'll have a host organization that has, offers artists a place to work, a place to live. And then, obviously there are costs attached to that. So depending on what the residency is, there's a whole range of how much artists will pay for this. Between a fully funded residency is one where the artist pays nothing and is usually paid for their time while they're there. This is not a fully funded residency. It's not an art organization running it, but they've done a really good job of funding a lot of the costs. So they do charge for food, but they cook the food. They have a volunteer, a staff member on site who prepares all the meals. So, and then the amount they charge at $200 a week for full board is not very much at all. And then they do charge a tiny bit for the charter transportation, the charter boat to the island. But otherwise it's fully funded, which is amazing. But then, you know, residencies can ask for something in return from the artists, especially if they're providing some amount of funding. So they ask artists to leave something behind. They have a little gallery up there, so leave an art piece or, you know, design something for the site. And so last year when I was there, I didn't leave behind any original work. I'm going to be bringing some back, but I did do 2 little plein air paintings that I've now made into postcards. So they look like this on the front, this on the back. And I'm bringing them back 100 of each. Now they are actually paying for the printing on that, but that's my main contribution, but they asked if I could this year donate something for their, they have like a fundraising auction. And so I'm probably not, actually, I had this thought of, oh, I'm gonna, you know, give them one of the pieces. I can give them one of these pieces, but I'm not going to, because I have an exhibition for On the Skin of Giants, I am not giving them an On the Skin of Giants painting because I don't have the time to make enough of these. Although they may host, the last time I was there we talked about hosting, because they have this little gallery, hosting an On the Skin of Giants exhibition there probably next year. Then things would go back there, although, you know, mostly not for their, they'd get presumably a cut, like any commercial gallery. So the big cost for me of going there is just the fact that they are in the middle of nowhere. So I do have to get there. And unfortunately my grants did not come through this year. So unless I get an application put together very, very soon and it comes through, this isn't going to get funded by the government. That's okay. Hello, hello. Thank you. I'm still somewhat at the stressed out and confused point with this painting, I'll be honest. But I'm hoping to get this one done and get some big progress on. I have 2 gigantic paintings at the studio right now. Before I leave on Wednesday. I'm gonna grab my phone, I just need to check something. Where did I put my phone? Did I bring it here? Probably. Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna grab my phone. I have no idea where my phone went. Not terribly important. So I am going, I'm in, for reference, I'm in Southern Ontario, in Canada, and I'm taking an artist residency up north. So I'm in southwestern Ontario in Kitchener-Waterloo, and I'm going up north to Lake Superior, just it's like 100 kilometers from Thunder Bay. It's actually closer to Duluth, Minnesota, to an island called Porphyry Island. It is on the Canadian side, but it's just barely on the Canadian side. And so I'm leaving on Wednesday. I'm going camping for 5 days in Sleeping Giant Provincial Park. And then taking a charter from Silver Islet to Porphyry Island, and I'll be there for 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks. Just over 2 weeks because there's a day crossover, so it's 2 weeks plus day. Bye, Paolo. And so anyway, I did go to the same island last year. Collected this chunk of tree. Started working on this painting, and then when I got back, I cut this sample from the crown of the tree I was working from. So the tree was fallen. I didn't kill a tree for this. I didn't top a tree, but I then brought back, but I had to fit it into my carry-on, so there was limited amount of tree I could get. So I brought back my reference, but I didn't bring back enough of a reference really, so now I'm struggling to figure things out a little bit. And yeah, but I'm trying to get this done because I have an exhibition that this is in coming up soon. So and also because I will be going back to Porphyry Island, so if I really, really can't finish this, then I can bring it back and hopefully you know, get some better reference for it. But I'm hoping to get this done actually before I leave, and then, yeah, because I have a lot of different pieces that I need to sort of get done for this exhibition. So I'm hoping that I can have 24 pieces hanging for the exhibition, and that's, you know, maybe a little bit ambitious, but go big or go home. And 24 pieces, but some of them are huge. Like this is tiny, but I've got a double imperial red oak piece that I'm working on at the studio, so that'll take longer. If it was 24 of these little guys, it would be a little bit easier.